Hey, what's up, YouTube? We're just about to go live on radio.co in 20 seconds, so if you'll stay tight, we'll be right with you.
What is that? That's what
PBS News.
I am the eggnog. That's what I am.
I think it's time to blow this scene. Get everybody in the stuff together. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. You are listening to The Doghouse with your hosts, Husky, Dingo, and Updog.
Hey, what's up, the Doghouse. Hey, what's up, fellow gamers? You're listening to The Doghouse, now in 5G audio quality.
5G!
We reached it. We finally surpassed the summit.
We did it.
I don't know how we make this level of high quality audio content. But then you do something, Husky, to show me why.
He puts the audio boosters on full
It's
blast.
incredible.
There are a lot of buttons.
Lots of buttons. I'm seeing
Sometimes
Audio
I remember to
boost.
press them. Sometimes I don't.
It's a wild ride every week for us here at
what a
the
wild
Doghouse.
ride.
I probably just need somebody else to press the mute buttons while I do all this stuff.
I can do that.
Yeah, I was like, I can't really reach. I'm way over here.
All right, now we'll go ahead and transition so the beautiful people can see the not so beautiful people.
It's a good idea. It's a good idea.
All right. Once again, welcome everybody. So we're gonna go jump right into the verse of the day before we go into anything. So I'll go ahead and pull that up. And Brian.
I got it right here, too.
Oh, okay,
So,
cool.
Yeah, I try to pull it up to you so I can read. All right. So, for today's verse of the day, it is Romans 13, 9 and 10. And it says, "For the commandments, you shall not commit adultery, you shall not murder, you shall not steal, you shall not covet, and any other commandment are summed up in this word. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. Love does no wrong to a neighbor. Therefore, love is the fulfilling of the law." So, we start out here, and Paul is talking about at first, he's talking about the 10 Commandments and kind of the more popular ones, and is just discussing them with the Romans. And he basically says all of these are summed up in this one, which is you should love your neighbor as yourself. So basically loving other people with the respect and honor that God loves them with. And then he finishes by saying, love does no wrong to a neighbor, and because of that, love is the fulfillment of the law. So basically, if you really love somebody, you will try your best to not do wrong by them. So, yeah.
That's great.
So once again, that's the verse of the day. That's Romans chapter 13, verses 9 through 10. So great verse. I love that one. Pretty good.
It's good.
But again, I love all the verses.
Of course.
I'm a
Even the
Christian boy.
controversial ones.
Especially the controversial ones.
Those are my favorite.
All right, but yeah, moving on, we'll jump into the weather. So today it is 41 degrees Fahrenheit, 5 degrees Celsius, a bit chilly. It'll probably be chilly again later tonight. And yes, we have a low of 26 tonight, 26 degrees Fahrenheit.
Hey.
Sky.
Hell
That's
may not be
disgusting.
freezing over, but Conway sure is.
Ooh.
We have a humidity of 28% with we have a 3 mile per hour wind speed. Don't know what that collection of letters is.
Oh boy.
Oh no. All right,
What
so
is it?
3 miles per hour. That's actually pretty strong for Arkansas because we got all these mountains. It's hard to get a wind
Yeah.
in here.
but yeah, right now
That's
it's
true.
fair and it should be clear tonight, which probably partly contributes to why it's cooling down so much in the night. But yeah, so that's the weather for today. Chilly, as always. But yeah, so moving on from that, let's talk about why we're stuff that we're actually here for. So you guys know what it is.
Yep.
Top of the hour.
Wait,
Yeah,
it
you
feels
gotta do
weird.
the thing.
It feels weird if there's already music.
Yeah, it's true.
I've been replaced by technology.
Oh no!
Private sector means nothing to me.
It happens. It's just.
Wait, do it now with the break.
It's just the turn of the wheel. I'm just another cog. My time is done. I can rest now and talk about my top of the hour news.
Cool. Do you want to start then?
Okay, so first up, the Nintendo Switch Lite is releasing in a coral edition. So like what we've already gotten like a yellow, a turquoise, and a gray model for the Switch Lite. This one's coming out in a coral, which is it's like a softer pink, I guess is the best way I can describe it. And people were telling me like the Switch Lite is definitely going to replace the 3DS.
Oh yeah.
I didn't really believe them until now. Because like these are usually the colors that they release new DSs whenever they come out. So I guess they're just taking that pattern and repeating it again.
Yeah,
So,
and
that
I
makes sense.
honestly I really like the color. It's nice and gentle on the eyes. So
yeah,
It's good. I like it a lot. It's not too strong. I think one of y'all had said that earlier. But
yeah. It's not like it's not
a-
like bright pink. It doesn't scream at my eyes. It's just a very like, hey, come play me.
Come play Animal Crossing.
Come play Animal Crossing with New Horizons.
do it now.
It does
Oh,
talk.
no.
That is a fact. You heard it here first. The
Oh,
Nintendo
no.
Switch Lite does speak to you.
It's interesting. I find it interesting though because like when I saw it, like the first thing I saw, and I said this before the show, I thought of orange sherbet ice cream. So I was like, it's nice.
It looks
Really
tasty.
nice.
That's
All right.
yummy.
Yeah, so that's coming out. Pre-orders are expected to go live around March 7th. So if you don't have a Switch yet, I would get this one. That's just me. All right. So in other news, Halo Infinite style Nerf guns. Hasbro's will be releasing several new models of Nerf gun, kind of inspired by Halo Infinite, this fall. The ones I have seen so far are like a Spartan sniper rifle and a needler. Is that what it's called? I never played
the
Halo.
Needler. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the one with the pink needles coming out the
Right.
top of it.
It's the needler.
It looks really cool.
That's what I used to call my older brother back home. He's the needler, because he won't stop poking me. Anyway, so yeah, the guns include stripes for that. It's basically the perfect way to, fight the Covenant scum here on Earth or in space. So like, I don't know, if you got a younger brother or if you're like really into Halo collectibles, I'd go out and grab one.
Yeah.
It's Nerf, so it's kind of overpriced, but hey.
It's one of those weird novelty items that like, I don't know, it kind of makes you want to buy it just because like that's so weird.
Yeah.
But like, you would have expected it to happen earlier.
Uh-huh.
It actually has.
Yeah,
they have
really.
They have some Halo style like Nerf guns, but not from Infinite.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Most
See,
of the,
It's gonna be from Infinite.
these are new ones.
Speaking of, I wonder if Infinite is gonna be any better.
No,
This is kind of.
I
I'm
hope.
calling it now. It's not.
I hope.
Microsoft
know.
is on the way
I
out.
always hope. I'm the positive one. Let's be real.
I
I always hope.
I won't ever get to find out unless I play somebody else's Xbox because I'm not getting a new one.
Same.
Let me put it this way. This game isn't being made to compete with like Doom or any of the other like Nintendo or Sony games. It's being made to compete with Stadia and Google games. So
Forget about that. Yeah.
yeah,
It'll be better than them.
Wow,
because that's the level Microsoft is at right now.
got them.
I will say
I
this.
did.
You just
Look at that!
destroyed
I just destroyed their
Microsoft.
career.
Wow.
It's over for
Dang,
them.
dude.
I will say
Gosh.
this. I've always been told whenever I'm going into youth ministry, I need to have a Nerf gun in my office to shoot people with. So
That makes
maybe
sense.
I'll just get a needler. That'd be
believe
funny.
it.
So
Yep, that's my top of the hour.
cool.
All right.
You want me to jump or you want you to jump? Or-
It's up to you, man.
I'll jump. I'm
Okay.
good with it.
You got it.
All right. So my first thing I'm going to talk about is Fortnite Chapter 2 Season 2. It happened. It's happening now. You can play it. It's cool. The big reason I wanted to talk about this is for one reason and one reason only, and that is there is a Rickroll emote that plays the music and you dance and stuff. It's really, really funny. So,
Sure.
I appreciate
Maybe
it.
turn it down a little bit.
I think that's a nice little nod to meme culture of back in my day, of course. But yeah,
Right.
so I think that's cool. Also, there's like a few kind of interesting things that they're doing this time.
How does what does the Rickroll even look like? Like
Well-
conceptually,
Conceptually, it's Rick Astley just doing this dance and singing.
like does it pull
But
up a YouTube
what
is
vid-
the-
Yeah,
video?
it pulls up the video. That's what it is. Or it's someone doing the dance like him, and so the emote is him doing this motion thing
Right.
that Rick Astley does while he's singing the song in the music
Yeah.
video. So it's really funny. I liked it. So there was that. Some other cool things that they're doing is players are choosing between two different agencies, which is Ghost and Shadow. And with that, they get to do certain time-limited events and some challenges, and that unlocks different cosmetics whenever you complete those.
Yeah.
Also, they unvaulted a lot of the original weapons and traps and stuff. So
Cool. I think I read somewhere that there's gonna be changes to the overall map depending on which faction is doing better.
oh, okay.
So that'll be
That's
kind of
cool.
cool to see.
Yeah.
Kind of a Warcraft sort of thing.
One more thing about this is you can disguise yourself in phone booths, and I think that's funny. That's all I got. Anyway, so for that one, that's all I have. But I do have one more top of the hour, because if you know me, you know I like Final Fantasy. And Final Fantasy VII's opening movie has been officially released, and goodness gracious, it looks stinking beautiful. They basically remade the original opening movie, but put it in the 7 Remake's graphics and kind of different camera angles and stuff. But it looks super cool. So it makes me more pumped to play the game on April 10th. So
Yeah, there's a lot of I never played the first one, but it's cool to see how excited people are for this remake. I don't think it's real, honestly. I think it's a big joke. I don't think it's ever coming out.
I mean,
When it
I
does, world's gonna be over.
Yep,
True.
that'll be it. There'll be nothing left to wait for.
I mean, let's be real. We all thought Kingdom Hearts 3 was going to be a joke, and granted, they pushed it back once or twice, but it happened. So
I'm not gonna take that bait.
Do
No,
it. Do
I
it.
ain't-
Come
no.
on. Come on, say it. You know you want
Can't
to.
make me. I've turned from
Hey,
that dark path.
You know what
Turn
else?
to the dark
This,
path.
I just remembered this.
oh man,
Hideo Kojima recreated the 1917 trailer in Death Stranding.
really?
Recreated the whole thing.
Huh?
It's pretty cool.
Why?
I don't know. Why does he do anything? Why
That's
is
true.
Don't ask
Is that,
why
is that a
with
thing
Hideo
on
Kojima.
YouTube that I can go watch?
Kojima's
Probably. I just read it that he did it.
Here, let me see. I'll check real quick.
That's incredible.
Current news.
What a mad. What, like people say like, wow, what a mad
If
lad.
you
But
like,
he might
man,
actually be crazy.
If you're like, man, I wish I could be this good at story writing.
Oh snap. Oh no. He did it.
Yikes.
What if 1917 was a video game?
I'd be so down to play that.
That would be really cool. That's what
Oh.
I want, like Battlefield or Call of Duty to have like story modes like that. You know, that would really draw me into the game.
Like, I understand like gameplay is a big important part of it, but honestly, like I think if you do something like World War One, there's more aspects of that
Yeah.
that you need to go into. So, like they did in 1917, the survival aspect and stuff, and it would be cool to just have to like scrounge as you navigate this area.
Yeah, so I looked, and it's not on YouTube, so big sad. But that's okay.
All right.
All
All
right.
right.
But yeah, that's all my top
Yeah.
of the hour. So.
Jumping to my top of the hour. So first thing I want to try to go over the newest announcement. That being that Sony is apparently pulling out of another show. So you know how they pulled out of E3?
Yeah.
They've also pulled out of PAX.
Wow, really?
Yes.
Huh.
If it would pull up.
How do you guys feel about?
Man.
Well, I mean, Sony hasn't
There
been
it
in a
is.
lot of stuff recently.
So PlayStation and Facebook canceled GDC appearances citing coronavirus concerns. So they'll not be attending this year's Game Developers Conference. It also follows a series of canceled, postponed video game events. And this, like I said, they canceled from E3, from PAX, from GDC. And I know they canceled for E3 for alternate reasons. and it's interesting to see that they cited the coronavirus sort of like as a reason. But it's kind of weird because you see these kind of conferences starting to see them kind of go out of the realm of importance. Like they're
the internet is such a faster, more viable way to spread information.
For the first time, Nintendo was actually like on the ball.
Yep.
For something for like. It would just be cheaper to do our own direct thing.
Right.
I was going to say the exact same thing. I think Nintendo kind of just realized what was happening.
Yeah.
And so they've already been making those steps.
We don't need to make a car out of Legos. We just post this on Facebook.
Honestly, I'd be down for E3 still, but instead of like the big shows on the stages, just have like the directs, like the PlayStation, they have state of plays for PlayStation. They have the Nintendo Directs. Just do those, and then you can have the games there if you want to show off demos and stuff and gauge interest. Because people are still willing to go there and talk about the games they play, and like we still rely on E3, and it's a good source of news for us. Mm-hmm. So I don't want E3 or anything to go completely away, but I think honestly, I think like the big showboating on the stage is kind of like part of the reason, like that's a bit of a culture thing of why we've seen developers start to focus on flashiness.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
I think honestly, in the future we'll probably see companies like Nintendo or Sony just like bring journalists into their bring them to places and let them play the video game instead of like having a huge event.
Right.
That would probably just be cheaper in the future, but yeah.
Fair point. Once again, I will like to say that they did withdraw from PAX and GDC because of specifically coronavirus concerns, but it's interesting. The E3 thing was kind of the big thing. You might be seeing people pulling out of these kind of events more often.
Right.
But yeah.
Is it Microsoft not going to be at E3 too? Just a quick. I think that was.
Probably not. I don't think so.
But I couldn't remember. All right, continue. Sorry.
But yeah, my next one is I actually have kind of two coupled ones. So
okay.
We don't have any games announced this week, but we are going to have some news that we're going to cover in depth next week. So what that is going to be is, first of all, Yacht Club Games has announced that they're going to have their second official Yacht Club Games presents next week, February 26th. It's going to be on Wednesday. So maybe I don't know if they have any more Shovel Knight news. Were you expecting any what?
We're probably not going to see very much stuff for Treasure Trove. They might go over it a couple times, but like that's pretty much done. We might see, it's still pretty early to say, but like we might see a couple trailers for their new Shovel Knight title, Shovel Knight Dig. I'm really excited for that, but I don't know, maybe they'll show us something new and interesting and unexpected.
Shovel Knight 2.
That's what Shovel Knight Dig is.
Oh, okay.
I
haven't looked into Dig,
dork.
So I didn't know.
You dork! You're a game journalist and you didn't even look up Shovel Knight Dig?
It's because I don't play Shovel Knight.
How dare you! How dare you, sir! Banished!
Quiet.
Banished from my court.
Quiet. But yeah, so that's going to be interesting to see, but at the same time, the next day, the next day on February 27th, so Platinum Games will be making a major game announcement next week in the game magazine Famitsu.
Ooh.
So, I'm thinking Metal Gear Rising Pachinko. I mean, what other way to take the series?
I'll be
classic
honest.
game.
Honestly, I kind of forgot magazines existed.
This is a Japanese magazine.
I know. It took me a couple seconds. A magazine? What's it? Oh, yeah, it's like a book, but not.
Yeah.
It's a small book.
In reality, what do y'all think it'll
but
be?
bigger.
Yeah.
A newspaper book.
Sure. But yeah, Famitsu is it's big in Japan and it's big enough to where we kind of ingest it a little bit over here.
Oh yeah.
Hear about it, but it'll be interesting to see what Platinum Games has planned. But we do know that they have this big 4 right here. Don't know what that means.
See, I would have thought Bayonetta, but if it's a 4, they aren't on the 4th game yet.
No, they're on the 3rd one.
Which we haven't heard anything about, which is why I'm
Persona
kind of
4.
confused.
Wait, no, that's Atlas.
Yeah, it's Atlas.
But yeah, no, that'll be interesting to see what Platinum has to announce. It's gonna be Metal Gear Rising.
Mighty number 4. No, that's not.
Mighty number 4.
That is completely different. Yeah,
that's interesting.
All right, what else you got?
I believe those are my top of the hours.
Okay.
So right in time as the music ended too.
Excellent.
Excellent.
That'll
All according
do.
to Kaikaku. So if that's all we have for the top of the hour, I think we're going to take a quick break before we get into the meat of today, which we will be talking about Animal Crossing New Horizons,
Yeah,
the new direct.
it'll be
Yeah.
interesting because neither of you guys have played it, but I know you have questions, so I get to.
Yes!
Lots of
for an
questions.
hour,
Great,
because that's our time slot.
fantastic.
We can do it. I've got enough questions.
I can show you things, Animal Crossing things that you've
You
never
can
seen.
way.
show us that.
I'll teach you the ways.
Okay. I think I want to play Ask DNA. What do you think about that? Yay, nay? No?
No.
No? Okay. We'll play, I want to play some Last Surprise then. Or Life Will Change. And then
That's
we'll do
good.
an ad
Of
from our
course.
new boys leaving the truth.
Nice.
Let's go back over here. And what do you want to end the thing with? Probably should have set this up beforehand. Let's do some Monster Hunter Jazz. So we can be nice and chill when we get back.
All right.
All right,
Just
so
like Animal Crossing.
we're gonna go to a quick break. And we're gonna play "Life Will Change," which is a cover from a cover of a song from Persona 5 by Emily, part of her Total Coverage Volume 4 album. Then we'll go to the a new ad that we just got. We made ourselves, homemade. Don't laugh.
You'll love
Please
it.
don't laugh.
You'll love
I
it.
worked really hard on it. I'll cry.
And then we'll jump to some Monster Hunter Jazz. So we'll be right back. Be sure to stay tuned in and don't touch that dial.
It's not a game, I'm not a robot AI challenging you. I'm not a phantom, I'm in your face and I'm here to see it through. Right before your eyes, watch us multiply. Come to claim our rights, it's time. As our power grows, trying to stop us shows. Might as well go try and stop time. So you know that we're out there, swatting lies in the making. Can't move fast without breaking. Can't hold on, our life won't change. And our voices ring out, yeah. Took the mask off to feel free. Fought it out in the deep rain. Now we know that life will change. Ain't it a shame? I'm not a figment of your alien old mind. I'm just as real as, I'm just as dangerous as you will soon find. A taste of your romance, fire in every breath, fire inside your head, your heart. And as your crippling brain tries to fight in vain,
You don't know what it's like to be alive until you've been living in the truth. Join me, Moonpie Man,
And Mr. Media,
on Mondays from 4 to 5 as we walk through the Word together.
let's do it, y'all.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. You're tuned in to CBC Tower Radio, and you are listening to The Doghouse with your hosts, Husky, Dingo, and Updog.
Hey, what's up, fellow gamers? Like he said, you're listening to The Doghouse, your one-stop shop for gaming news, reviews, and discussion.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of discussion, I think we got something to talk about right now.
Oh,
Really?
Amazing.
oh, new stuff.
Incredible. New things happen sometimes,
You're
guys.
telling
I
me
can't believe it.
that
I
on
know-
this gaming show, we're talking about new video game things.
I know you guys wanted to talk about Duck Hunt for the NES again, but
I did.
something
Man.
something new happened. We got new stuff. Oh boy.
Still waiting on that Duck Hunt Kingdom Hearts crossover, baby.
Yeah, when's it happening? Come on, Square.
Stop talking,
When's
please.
it happening? When's the Kingdom Hearts Monster Hunter crossover
Quit your
happening?
jobs.
That's the real question.
I'm so tired of
God.
this. All right, so yesterday there was an Animal Crossing New Horizon Direct to showcase the new features that the Animal Crossing game is going to have. This is the new Animal Crossing title for the Switch. I believe it's coming out March 20th.
We're good. Right?
Yep.
March 20th.
March 20th.
Wow, March
You know what
20th.
else is coming out March 20th?
What?
For the Switch. It's a fun game. It's big. It's a pretty big title.
Duck Hunt 2.
Close. It's Doom Eternal. It's the same basic premise.
Duck Hunt 2.
Ducks, cyber demons. I mean, really,
They're the same thing.
Sure, same thing.
same familial tree.
Now
honestly.
I
If oh my gosh,
I want a mod.
if in Doom Eternal, like if you missed a shot or if a demon like hurts you and the duck, like the dog, just like if he did his little laugh, that'd be fantastic.
Bro, if there was a
you
mod
kill
for
one,
Doom,
and it's like
That'd be great.
holds it up.
that'd be funny.
There is some of the old like guitar riffs and stuff from the first one that they're kind of adding into reimagining and putting into this one. So I'm
Nice.
yeah, it'll be cool.
Super
It's almost,
cool.
it's a little bit. It's a little bit. I like it. I do wish that they would like let. They aren't like they didn't like axe that guy who did the soundtrack for the last Doom, right?
No, I think he's still in it, but I think it's
Okay.
instead of being like when you kill a demon, now I think it's like like it adds a little.
Well, it's
the
a
bass
little-
guitar,
little- yeah.
I like that.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I got
Yeah.
caught up in the Doom Eternal.
The
We're
Doom.
here to talk about Animal Crossing.
Specifically, New Horizons Animal Crossing.
Yep. So basically, like, I'm into world building and like little casual, like, I guess life sim style games. I've played Animal Crossing the original on GameCube. I played the New Leaf on the Nintendo 3DS.
Right.
I've also played some Harvest Moon games, some Rune Factory, Stardew Valley. I played a lot of these games, all of them except for Sims, because Sims is pretty bad.
Yeah.
I don't. Have you guys played anything like Animal Crossing?
Yeah.
I played honestly, and 1 second before. Well, let's like precursor this because we've all seen the direct, and we'll go over like some of the finer details of what we saw in the direct in a second. But like I think when I was watching it, it made me think of Minecraft in the sense that like you can go about and create these things, and that there's no overall goal except to like build. You know,
You can
It's-
even edit the world itself around you.
It's weird because all of that stuff is new. That was
Really?
not in the previous Animal Crossing games.
So-
it was very much about like doing tasks like fishing and farming and not fishing and like picking fruit from trees and like catching bugs for money, which you use to buy different like furniture, which is like kind of in limited access. Like you'll get a different pool of furniture you can buy like on each day. The building stuff is new, and I have not. I'm kind of intrigued because, like in Animal Crossing New Leaf, it was about you were like the new mayor of a town, which was kind of in, it wasn't a very good standing, and you were kind of tasked with like building the community up again from the ground up, like putting in public works projects to put in like parks and benches and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
But with this Animal Crossing, it seems like you're starting like with nothing at all. Like there isn't even a town to build on. You're just creating a community from the ground up. So it makes sense that they'd put in this crafting system. But yeah, I'm excited to see kind of what you can do with all of that.
Yeah. Just to kind of go off of what you were saying earlier about other types of these games that we've played.
Yeah.
I've played a few. So my Sims was different than the regular Sims games. I played the one for the Wii.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not exactly the same as Animal Crossing, but it's similar concepts in some ways. Like you do small kind of random in ways tasks to get money or to get material to then build things, which I had a lot of fun with that back when I played that. Something that's similar is, and this is going to sound random because I've talked about this before, but the Dark Cloud 1 and 2 games, one of the bigger aspects of it besides the dungeon crawling is building the towns. And so you have to go through the dungeons to get the materials to then build things in towns. And depending on which game it is, it affects things. Okay. And so I enjoy those types of games, especially whenever the small things to build stuff mean something.
Yeah, I think this Animal Crossing is going to have more draw for me just because like it was like building stuff and kind of like getting access to new characters like as you fulfill these like little quests or like requirements was kind of the draw, but now it seems like they've kind of pushed that to like the maximum. Like you have literally like nothing at all, just this deserted island, and you're slowly going to build up like your own little city state in international waters.
I know it's a little bit different, especially stylistically, but like it does remind me a little bit of how like the Civ games worked. So like
sort of, I guess.
So, and I know it's like there's a lot of differences there, but like just like on a macro like sort of like how it works, that's how it is. But before we get into that, we should probably explain what happened in this direct before we get into the nitty gritty of it. So it kind of opens up with Tom Nook.
Yeah, it's presented as a press conference for the Deserted Island Getaway Package by Tom Nook Incorporated. He's gone corporate, guys. He's bigger than ever. His reach is longer than governments. He can infiltrate any system.
How do you think he got these islands?
Bro, it was us. We did it. We paid him all that money. Each of us who played Animal Crossing the first two.
You funded the way to your own grave, Mayor.
We did this.
Next thing you know, the next game he's going to be President Nook.
I hope so. You have to build a country.
Oh, God.
You have to build cities.
Bro.
With him as the Shadow Master pulling the strings.
And each of the villagers in the last games, you have to make mayors.
Ooh. What if they would elect like one mayor in Animal Crossing as the president?
Yeah, dude.
So he would control like the other towns that other people have to play on.
It's Tom Nook.
you look horrified. More bureaucracy in Animal Crossing? Are you mad?
Yeah. I just want to catch bugs.
I won't catch a stag beetle. Look at him go.
Yeah. So it kind of opened with Tom Nook, and he was saying it was a 3-part kind of video. He went on explaining like the first part. The first part was the largest part. It was half the video. Basically, what you could do on these islands, and that's what I was watching it, and like me personally, I was getting confused. I was like, okay, you can go and do all these things. I haven't played Animal Crossing, so I don't know what the purpose is it yet.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, oh, cool, I can catch a beetle. I'm like, my Monster Hunter brain is like, I can use this to craft. Wait, no. It's Animal Crossing. But no, and it looks beautiful. I'm like, and I started getting more into it, and I'll talk about why I started getting more into it later. But like, it kind of opens up, and I guess you're starting out on this island just doing a tent, the bare essentials.
Right.
You on this deserted island in the middle of the ocean. He's just like, there's an airport, and I have a business tent over here if you need anything. No, you can't have any water from the cooler. But yeah, it's interesting because you'll be like, you're basically terraforming an island, like, as we went into it. Because you can catch bugs and do all this wildlife, but in the end, you're trying to get up to, like, we can build a house, and we can build, like, you can start like investing in other villagers that come through, and I'm kind of skipping place. But what really got me is the fact that you can actually like build this own community, and you could even like change the landforms and stuff of this island. So I'm wondering if I can just make my island bigger somehow, and just like make
some kind of glitch
make a new
expand
continent.
Like I think being able to like change the layout of your like town and stuff, again, that's also new for the series, and I think that's a good way to kind of bring in new people. I guess.
Yeah.
When I was seeing that, I was actually really invested. I was like, I was like,
Yeah.
I like up until like he'd been showing the catching bugs and stuff. I was like, okay, this is kind of neat, but I don't know if it's for me. And then he's like, you can build your own community, shape it to your whim, and like choose where the city hall is, and just make your own little picturesque little town on this island. I'm like, that sounds kind of cool.
You can choose.
Not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
you could have like a really like dense like populated island full of like different attractions, or you could have like a really picturesque kind of like neighborhood almost.
Yeah,
with
right.
trees and like rivers and stuff going through. I can imagine like almost like not starting over, but like if I got this game, just playing like across the years, just like changing things over and over and kind of
And speaking of change, the seasons are changing this too, and they're depending on what hemisphere you are in.
Yeah, you can.
I loved that.
Yeah, Animal Crossing has always had like seasons that match the real world.
Really, it's always had that.
Even the GameCube.
Wow.
Yeah. Like when you select your region, it kind of and like set your clock and stuff. That's really important because if you mess with that, Rossetti comes to kill you. But yeah,
Now I want
like,
to watch that.
Yeah, it matches. It matches with real life seasons. Like holidays are the same. Like if it's Christmas in real life, it's Christmas in Animal Crossing.
Right. And I saw they celebrate your birthday too.
Yeah,
At some point.
yeah.
It's just like Metal Gear.
Happy birthday, Snake. Can I name myself Snake in Animal Crossing?
Yes.
Bro, yeah.
I'm gonna name myself Big Boss.
One of the villagers is trying to come up to me and he trips into one of the pitfalls. Now.
Bum, 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 da, bum. Oh my lord! If you get like a snake,
This is my island, Shadow Moses Island.
Shadow Moses. Oh, yes.
That's great.
That'd be amazing.
Oh my lord. Okay, so if they have amiibos and stuff again, and I'm getting off a little bit in this, I really hope they put a snake amiibo in there. So
That would be really cool.
And have solid snake on my island.
Yeah.
I can have Sonic the Hedgehog on my island. That'd be
Oh
cool.
my lord.
So
I can call it Green Hill Zone.
now that we're kind of on this, like talking about the terraforming of the island, like I know like you guys haven't played it, but like just off the top of your head, like what kind of island do you think you would want if you made the game? Like what would be your end goal?
I don't know. I think I'd probably just make it as I went. Something like a nice little town. I don't know if I'd have like a direct goal. Like I guess I could make something, but like
Right.
it's kind of the thing with this is that it kind of does pigeonhole you into like making this community. You can't really. You can get creative with like how it looks, but like you're making a picturesque town on an island.
Yeah.
So.
I think you kind of compared it to Monster Hunter earlier, and that's a
Jokingly,
weird. I know that's a weird comparison because like you're kind of limited in what you can do, just like Monster Hunter, but like the ways you can go about doing that one thing, like building a community, are very deep and like varied as far as the game goes. So like Animal Crossing does one thing, build a town on a deserted island, but like there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of steps in between, like starting and finishing.
I think it'd be. I don't know. I was gonna say I think it'd be interesting to make different types of towns, but I don't know like how you do that. Maybe if you could like have different types of architecture, and they might have that in the game, so we don't know. But that'd be cool.
Just something that's really big for me in this, as far as this game is concerned, because I'm probably going to be grabbing this. I'll be honest. Is me playing it with probably at that point she'll be my wife, Allison. We'd be playing this at the same time with the new feature that they have of the multiplayer stuff.
Right.
Where you can have up to, I think it's 4 people on one console, 8 people in general. Online. But as far as how my island would look and like the town and everything, I think that'd be interesting because it would have to be something we work at together instead of I know, and that kind of makes it hard.
Cooperation, gross.
It makes it hard because for me, I would really want a lot of dynamic differences depending on which section of the island you're in.
Yeah.
So, like, I would want this part over here to be a little bit taller than everywhere else. So, like, you can ramp it up a little bit, maybe have, like, a waterfall that comes down from it. And it's, like, where a lot of the bird people, or, like, maybe even some of the people
you're
from the
segregating.
sky. Yeah, segregation. Anyways, so, but not really.
You
It would
accepted
really
that
just be,
so easily. It was actually a bit worrying.
No, okay, I'm joking on that part.
Okay.
But like, I would have whoever would want to be there could be there.
The birds live on the mountains while the mole people dig beneath.
But anyway,
building
so like
gyros.
But I would have like each part of town would be a little different. Like I'd probably have 3 neighborhoods, and like one corner of the town, like a bigger corner, would be all of the businesses. If that makes sense.
Yeah, you could have like a main street.
So, yeah,
and
that's
stuff.
exactly what I was thinking. And
Yeah.
so you can have it
this
to
is
where
actually
it's
sounding pretty fun.
neighborhoods, and then you have a business street. And you can even have like this is where all the government stuff is, and
Right,
that's where
right.
the airport is, things like that. I don't know if you can change where
I
the
think
airport is, but
Probably.
I'm wondering how big you can make like mounds and stuff. Because I'd be really down to make like try to make like something like a mountain.
yeah, exactly.
Like that'd be cool. And then like just have me on top, and then all the poor people down on the bottom.
Below.
Oh no.
Oh man,
Yeah.
it's the
No, but
roar.
like make like a
Gosh.
lake, make a lake up at the top of it, and then make like a
yeah,
cascading
make it a
waterfall.
waterfall. Yeah,
Like something like that.
Yeah, you kind of brought this up a little bit, Dingo, but like before in Animal Crossing games, like other people could play in your towns, but they couldn't like. There was like limitations on what they could do.
yeah,
Like, but in this one, it seems like the general rule is like your friends can come to your town, but they can't break or change anything unless they're your best friend, which is like like an access setting, I guess, where they're allowed to cooperate with you on the town.
Well-
I think that's pretty cool.
yeah. That's actually a system setting for the Switch itself. It's already implemented. You can star certain people, and that activates them as a best friend.
That's cool.
Which,
I didn't know about
To
that.
this point, hasn't, as far as I know, hasn't done anything. But the fact that they're kind of implementing that really useless system to mean something in Animal Crossing, I thought was cool.
Or
So,
maybe they've been planning this from the start.
it's pretty
Nook's
likely.
been scheming ever since the Switch was announced.
I also like how, like, whenever friends come on your island, they can do certain things, but there's certain items they cannot have access to. It's like what you were saying, basically.
But
But, like,
yeah, they
it's
can't.
certain
It
items
doesn't.
they
It
can't.
doesn't look like they can terraform. They can't like chop down trees and stuff unless they're your best friend. Only my best friends can destroy the
my
wildlife with me.
Oh, man.
But yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about the smartphone? The apps and stuff?
I was gonna say. I was when I was saying that earlier about like when you catch beetles and stuff, and I didn't really know what that was for. It kind of started becoming apparent, like like when they were saying like you can make like museums and stuff, and I'm like,
Yes.
like so you can like it like goes towards like, so it's almost like you're chronicling like all the wildlife there. So like I don't know. It'll be interesting. I don't know how old Animal Crossing games work, like why you would catch bugs in old ones. So
What does the museum do in the older games?
In the
Could you
older games,
explain?
yeah, like there's space to collect like one of every single like different kind of bug and fish and fossil and like different kinds of like minerals and stuff you can find. Like they had like like they had different like displays for dinosaur bones. Like you could find every single bone like out of 300 bones for like a full Tyrannosaurus or whatever.
Wow.
That's always fun.
yeah, they have that for a lot of dinosaurs in this one, apparently, from what I was seeing in the
Right.
direct. So.
It looks really cool.
Yeah. I think like the thing that was interesting to me is like the in previous Animal Crossing games, like stuff like bugs and minerals and different things, they had like a value to them, and you could sell them for bells, and that's how you would buy things mostly in the game, is by like catching fish and like finding different things and selling them. But in this game, it looks like it's almost got like a quest based or like an achievement based system
Okay.
where you gather miles. So you don't have to sell everything that you get. It looks like you can, like if the quest is like find this kind of beetle, you could find it and then you get more bells, but you don't have to
And-
sell the beetle, I guess.
And that gives you more tools to kind of like go at the island, I think.
Right.
So
Yeah.
and, like you could like find a castaway and sell him for bells. So,
Yeah. I think like
Get to work in the bird mountain apparently, because that's where we're putting the birds.
isn't that what the
Dingo.
the Nook Miles? Isn't that what
That's
that app
that's
is?
yeah.
Right.
The Nook Miles seems to be the primary way you're gonna get bells this time. Which honestly, I'm like the thing that kind of got me to stop playing Animal Crossing both those times was just like I would never have like I would have like an overall goal, like today I want to finish building a museum, or today I want to finish this public parks display or whatever. But like getting there was always like really just like I had no like short-term goal to kind of help me. But it looks like the Nook Miles kind of takes care of that, maybe.
right. So
Yeah.
Gives me some structure to my day.
I'm definitely interested in the way that this game is kind of presenting itself and how you'll be building this. once again, like so many creative ideas. Just like you can make, and like just now when we were talking about it, like at first I was picturing like, can't I like it seems like I can only make like a town, like a picturesque town, but then I'm thinking like, oh, but I could make like a mountain, like I can make any island I want. I can make a dream course. I wonder if I can make like a sky bridge.
That'd be cool.
Can you invade other people's islands by just expanding
the
a
sky
peninsula
bridge
out?
I think one of the cool things is not only can you customize the island like this, but at first it's a tent, but even your house.
Yeah.
One of the big things, I don't know if this was in other Animal Crossing games. Like, I know you have a house and you pay the rent on it or whatever, but was it ever possible to expand your house to more than one room before?
Yeah, you start out with like the base. You start with a tent, then you get like the base house, and then you kind of like get a medium-sized house, which is like multiple rooms. Eventually, you get like a mansion, which has like a whole bunch of different rooms in it.
So has that been a thing in other Animal Crossing games?
That's all. I think that's always been a thing.
Oh, okay.
Because where are you gonna store all your dope stuff?
I wonder if they're gonna let us explore the ocean nearby too, to an extent.
That's a good question.
Or have they just revealed all the features already?
Well, I feel like they kind of did something like that with the Dodo Airlines plane for the mystery tours. That you get the miles ticket, you go to the other islands.
Right.
I think that'll be like, oh, this island has some things that maybe yours doesn't have, and so you can collect those for the museum, or
There's
maybe
probably
they're rare.
sharks.
The islands look big too,
Yeah.
relatively, because they're saying like just in case you get lost. I'm like, okay. Previously, I was
You can
thinking they're
rescue.
kind of small, but now I'm looking at like how big are these things?
Right.
So,
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I think just the size of it, I'm wondering like how many. Before I could have like maybe 20 villagers at one time, but now I'm like, can I just fit all of them?
Dude,
Can I
that'd
just
be
have
awesome.
all the villagers in one place?
But aren't there like 300 of them?
Yeah.
they brought back Isabel. She drinks whiskey apparently.
Whoa.
What?
Yeah, it was on her desk right next to her.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, in the Japanese version, she explains the difference between whiskey without an E and whiskey with an E.
Really?
I'm
Yes.
very confused, but I'm gonna be looking that up.
I want
Right after
to.
the show.
That's crazy.
So yeah,
But-
Isabel is kind of she became a very popular character and is something of like a de facto mascot, I guess, for the series, along
Yeah.
with Tom Nook.
True.
I guess I'm glad that character came back and is not just another villager. You have to kind of unlock her by doing some stuff and getting like a housing development office or something. So I guess she got a new job. I don't know. I quit as the mayor. I haven't touched the game in like 10 years, so I guess I haven't been paying her.
Yeah.
Kind of bad on my part, but
So, would
Hello
you say...
again.
Yeah.
it's you. You abandoned us.
So, speaking of abandoning, was there a specific character in Animal Crossing besides like the bigger faces like Gulliver or Isabel? Like, was there one that sticks in your mind now that you would want to be in your new village?
I like the penguin, the fat penguin.
Oh, there's a fat penguin?
People have been inserting him into different photos, like up
What?
to the release of the game, just in a bunch of weird places. Like he's behind Bernie Sanders in one of his posters. It's pretty great.
So, like, what's...
Oh, Lord.
I didn't even know there was a fat penguin in this game.
I can't remember
tell
his.
me.
I can't remember his name. I haven't played the game in so long.
Do you know, like, what his personality was or anything? Or?
He was pretty chill. He's pretty cool.
Okay.
Uh,
I was just curious.
Yeah.
Like, I know there's a lot of animals. I think 353. I'd watched a Game Explain video that kind of talked about that. But, so there's a lot. And I already have a few that I kind of like. I like the eagle, who's, like, basically America. I liked him. I thought he was funny. And, I mean, evidently I might like this penguin. Penguins are actually one of my favorite animals. So.
his name's Rolled.
Rolled.
Is there a lion seal that I can have fit in the same house as the penguin? It'll be really awkward.
Oh, God.
That'd be funny.
You also get to pick where these people's houses are.
Yeah,
Apparently,
yeah.
they just let you have that control.
It also seems like you have control over which villagers like you invite to the town.
It becomes a collectathon for villagers too. I
Right.
guess. So interesting. Everything kind of collects to like make your island no longer a natural, picturesque island and more like a metropolis.
What if I play the game for 10 years and I just never build anything? Like I just wander around on this island. Like a savage.
I mean, you could,
Just
I
no,
guess.
no social or like economic development. I'm just here on this rock, just too stubborn to pay Tom Nook for anything. Oh boy.
Bro, apparently there's a lot of penguins in Animal Crossing. Dadgum.
Yeah, Earl is the best one.
I got you.
So, let's see. I think there's also, returning characters are back.
Mhm.
There's gonna be like a ton of free content coming out right after launch.
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess you expect, like, if you have enough like data space for the game, maybe clear out a bit more, just because they're gonna throw some more stuff at you apparently.
Right.
And if you haven't bought a Switch yet, apparently they also have a new Animal Crossing Switch.
Yeah, it's got Tom Nook and his little guys on
little
it.
minions.
It looks
Yeah.
pretty good. Like I like the light green and blue aesthetic.
Yeah, it
It's
does
cool.
look good. One thing that they did mention that I found interesting was that they aren't doing cloud save.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting, and I kind of get it a little bit. Like I don't know if it's because of a technical issue or like reason, but like as far as Animal Crossing the games have been, it's like it's on your console, and if you don't play the game, the world keeps going without you. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like if I just ignore it's famously like, you know, if you leave the game for 3 years and try to come back, everyone will be just like, where have you been? We ran out of hot water 2 years ago. Stuff like that. So
It's like Neopets.
yeah, pretty much.
It's really
Pretty
yeah.
much. So like
I remember I went back to Neopets and they're all dead. They're all dead. I let them die.
what have you done? Wow. Okay.
Big goof, big tone shift.
Yeah.
But
But yeah, like I kind of get like it wouldn't really mean as much if I
Yeah.
could just load it onto the computer
Right.
and then
Yeah.
bring it up on another Switch. I guess get the hard copy is what I'm saying.
yeah.
Make sure you get the physical edition.
Well, I mean, it's you get the hard copy, but like, I don't know. I just feel like, I think it's more like I think people would like to be able to play it on the go and then on their dock as well. And if they have a Switch Lite and they do that on the Switch Lite, they can't switch between. So I don't know.
Right.
It's
That's
interesting.
true.
Plus, if they said they're gonna upload something just in case somebody has like a destroyed console or something goes wrong.
Yeah.
So I can't remember what exactly that system was, but it'll be interesting going forth seeing what that's going to be.
Sure.
Yeah.
But apparently you can only do it once.
That's it.
So, but
Yeah.
yeah. Speaking of death in the realm of Neopets, apparently ghosts are on this island.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
Yeah. That's new. I've never seen anything like that.
In gravestones. So
Yeah, I saw the gravestone. That made me
Okay.
sad.
I will say this: there have been hintings and rumblings of something weird and supernatural in Animal Crossing games, but never anything like concrete that you can see
Specific.
in the deep lore of Animal Crossing. But like,
But there's a point where she even talks about like a magic wand or whatever, right?
yeah, I think that's just a cosmetic item to change your clothes really quick,
Oh,
which
okay.
is cool actually. Because like if it's raining, I can just be like, boom, I'm wearing my raincoat now.
Cool.
I won't get hypothermia.
Yeah.
there's magic in Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
Confirmed.
Yeah, Santa
Nice.
Claus is real. Magic is real. Witches are real, I think. Ghosts
wow.
are real too, now. So, I'm excited. Does that mean there's
No, f-
like
Dude, the ghost of Tortimer.
he wasn't a ghost of an animal though, which is a weird thing. He was just a ghost. So
Oh.
It's weird because like they saw that ghost, and then there were like gravestones and like certain screenshots,
yeah,
and apparently at some point they were like, okay, if you get stung a few times, you can get hurt or worse.
can you die? Are you asking me if you can die in Animal
Is it
Crossing?
gonna be a permadeath in Animal Crossing?
That
No,
would be incredible if you don't pay Tom Nook and get those food shipments to the island every week. Some people might start getting a little too hungry.
They just got desperate. It's all.
Oh no,
Man. Yikes.
rolled is looking pretty tasty.
Oh no, not that
That
penguin.
lamb you start looking at that lamb lady, less like a lady and more like a lamb chop. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Right. Yeah. So
Fair point.
I think my favorite part of this direct was Tom Nook plugged his Twitter. You can follow him at Tom Nook at Animal Crossing on Twitter.
I thought
Great.
that was funny.
Get updates on all the. I've already checked. It's pretty great. Some pretty great stuff.
Oh man, I gotta follow him now.
Yep.
So I mean, if we do all get this, we're gonna have to like go in and like do it to each each of our things, and
Yeah.
we gotta take pictures, and
We gotta make a
gotta go
doghouse
find bugs.
village.
Gotta kill Tom Nook. We gotta find ghosts.
Sorry, what was that last bit?
Find ghosts.
Find ghosts.
Yeah, find ghosts.
Okay, yeah.
Tom Nook's ghost.
We're gonna make some ghosts.
Yeah, bro. The Doghouse Island trio. It's gonna be
Oh
cool.
man,
Oh boy, I could use it. I could use a vacation.
I think
Mm.
everybody
desert
could use a
island.
vacation at this
Yeah,
point.
man.
But yeah,
That's a fair point.
but yeah, I don't know. The game seems pretty fun thus far.
Yes.
So what are you most looking forward to, Logan, as somebody who hasn't got to play it yet,
Weirdly enough,
or has played Animal Crossing?
yeah, like weirdly enough, I'm looking forward to interacting with some of the characters from the first game.
Okay.
I played that when I was a kid, and I had a lot of fond memories of just some of the mean stuff they'd say to me. Like they had a lot of
Fond
personality.
memories.
They had a lot of personality and stuff. So like I'm kind of interested to see like some of the new people and like interacting with the old ones again.
Mm.
So yeah, I guess some.
Seeing how Isabel has developed with her new drinking problem, apparently.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. What does that American Eagle guy think about
Oh,
recent
I like him,
changes to the
though.
political circuit?
I've never got to play Animal Crossing before, so I'm interested to see like I've never understood the appeal, but like I can understand the appeal of putting together an island and your own like community in terms of like building all these buildings like that's fun to me. So maybe like while I'm doing that, I'll get to understand what the appeal of like Animal
Right.
Crossing is along
You
the
know-
way.
You'll get to learn the true meaning of Animal Crossing. It's just a game you play like 30 minutes a day, and it's pretty chill, helps you relax. That's basically the appeal to me.
I realize now,
I will dominate the
unless
island.
we don't count
Ecology.
this,
You can't...
unless we don't count this, I technically played Pocket Camp for a little bit.
Okay, that's all we got to say about Animal Crossing
Okay, no,
New Horizon.
I wasn't sure if that was a big thing or not. That's something we
Coincidentally,
should mention.
You can follow the Pocket Camp Twitter for updates, I think, as well.
Yeah. They
I
said
think
there's gonna be
there's-
like cross-play items and stuff
Mhm.
between the two. But only,
I do have one more
What
question
was
for
so bad
you.
about Pocket Camp?
it sucks.
Okay.
I have one more question for you.
I don't know.
As someone that has played a lot of games similar to this, and I know one that you're playing now, even still, is Stardew Valley.
Yeah.
That you seem to like it a lot.
Uh-huh.
Would Animal Crossing New Horizons change how you play Stardew or any other game? In terms of, would you stop playing it and instead replace it with New Horizons, or how would that work?
It might be hard to tell the difference like from an outside perspective, but there really is like a lot of difference between something like Stardew Valley and Animal Crossing.
Mhm.
Like Stardew Valley is much more structured, I guess. Like I have a farm and I can choose what I grow, but the end goal is always just to make money and spend it on stuff.
Okay.
And to like interact with the villagers who have their own like, very specific tastes and stuff. That's not as big a thing in this new Animal Crossing. It looks like it's going to be much more just something you can do for like 30 minutes a day and then put down again. Like the game, you can't just like rush through the game or speed run it. It's more like
I'm gonna try.
something you can give it your best shot. Now, I mean, like if you're playing the game, like night only shows up when it's night in real life.
So I got
Yeah.
Okay.
So I got a 24-hour minimum.
I guess. As long as you're awake, you can play Animal Crossing, but all the other characters are going to go to sleep.
No, they won't.
All the shops will be closed, Eli.
I won't.
It'll be
I
over.
took the keys
You
to
don't
all their
understand
buildings. They
us.
can't get back in.
Oh, gosh.
That sounds more like stealing than anything.
I'll make the ghosts my new villager.
Oh no. Oh, he's
Wait.
gonna make the new villagers as ghosts.
Oh, no. Welcome to Murder
I
Island.
wonder if you can recruit. I wonder if you can recruit a ghost as a village.
Where does he live? In the cemetery, I guess.
Yeah, you could just make
Maybe
him a
that's
nice
what that
cemetery.
gravestone was for.
Bruh.
You make a mausoleum for him.
Oh,
You
no.
have to like dig into the graves and you get in there.
I hope that fits.
Grave robbing? There's a lot of intrigue in this new Animal Crossing I wasn't
There's
expecting.
lots of stuff.
I wonder if I get to make like water wheels and stuff like like power plants and stuff.
Ooh,
That'd be
that'd
cool.
Because they showed like the current system how you can make like waterfalls and stuff. I'm like, ooh,
Can you
I'd
make
like to mess
street
with that.
lamps or torches or something?
There's no electricity. You
Yes.
gotta set it up.
Yeah, you gotta like set it up and stuff. That'd be cool.
They're also glowing mushrooms.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Sounds tasty.
Fungus Island.
Tasty.
Fungus
The power of the fungus.
is among us.
All right. Well, we got anything else to say about Animal Crossing?
Oh
New
man,
Horizons?
I didn't think I'd say this, but I'm actually kind of excited for it.
Sure.
I think for me the biggest thing is the multiplayer aspect. I like playing with people when it comes to these types of games, or at least having someone with me that's like, oh, that's a cool idea, or maybe do this. So having that aspect in this game more prominently, especially whenever it's someone that's with me at the time, I think that's a huge thing.
Yeah, there's
for
a lot.
Me, it's a big.
There's a
bonus.
bigger focus on multiplayer for this one. It seems like.
Did you guys check out the hairstyles that they had though?
I haven't.
Yeah.
One of them had a fade.
Can you?
It's pretty cool.
In this one, can you make your own character?
Yeah,
Like,
you make-
create it
you-
instead.
It's okay. It's kind of weird because like you can. At the beginning of the game, usually they'll ask you like a personality quiz, and that kind of dictates what your character looks like.
Yeah, yeah.
But then you can like open up a salon run by these hedgehogs, and then you can kind of customize your character's face and stuff from there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They might
gotcha.
just let you customize from the beginning in this one.
Yeah, that'd be
I
fun.
would prefer that honestly because
Maybe
that's
it'll
one
be
thing that's
optional.
turned me off.
Maybe it'll be optional. I'd rather just go with the personality quiz and get a weird looking, like a dopey face looking guy who's just like, oh.
Cranky.
I think it just depends on the look. Like some of them to me, I'm like, but some of them
Sure.
are good enough, you know. So
But yeah. Overall, I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah,
yeah.
Probably gonna buy Doom first.
same. Honestly.
I'll
Oh
cover-
gosh, I might get both at the same time. I don't know.
I'll
be
cover
destitute.
Animal Crossing. You guys can get Doom.
You're gonna be destitute.
It's Tom Nook. Get him.
Hey, you can play Doom on like a calculator and stuff, right? Can
Yeah,
I play
yeah.
Doom on Animal Crossing New Leaf?
No.
Is there a way to program it into the
Yes.
On New Leaf or New Horizons?
yes. I have no idea.
It'll be interesting. It's interesting also because they're releasing on the same day. They release like cross-posted memes.
Yeah.
So there's like
yeah.
one of like Isabel at like a video game counter. She throws up a thing with bells. She's like, "1 copy of Doom Eternal, please." Except it sounds like meow 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 meow. So
I'm waiting for like Doom Guy to take off his helmet in the new one, and he opens his mouth to do his big one-liners. There was the
Epic.
same world all along.
He was actually fighting to get to your island.
He was
and
the
then-
villager. The demons came and destroyed
Whoa.
his town. That's where he's from.
Bro, hold up. He's fighting to get to your village, and then whenever you open up New Horizons, you have a brand new village.
If you beat Doom Eternal and then get Animal Crossing on the same console, one of your villagers is Doom.
It's Doom Guy.
that's what he sounds like.
No, he sounds like the guitar riff. The guitar riff whenever you shoot the demons.
If you get like a cyber demon amiibo and put it on, he just kind of chases him around.
That'd be epic. Oh man, I'm more
Yeah.
excited now for it. Now that we've got all these crazy ideas.
Interesting. I'm interested to see how the ghosts pan out. So
Yeah, that'll be weird.
But yeah. Anyways, I think that's all we have to say for Animal Crossing. Unless you guys want to say some more. Once again, that's coming out on March 20th, and go out and check that Animal Crossing Direct on YouTube right now. I think you guys will enjoy it.
It's not even 30 minutes long.
Yeah, it's not even 30
Yeah.
minutes long. Also, do not comment about Smash on it. I will come to your house and
Please.
break your knees.
I can't.
I couldn't stand that whenever I saw those posts.
It's a little bit of a meme, I'm not going to lie.
I mean, some of it was,
kinda
but some of
funny.
it was serious, probably.
Who knows?
But
All right.
But yeah, that's all we have to say about that. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back to talk about a new topic.
Something,
today.
something very special.
Something
We've been
new. Should I
preparing.
reveal it now, or should I
something
wait?
dark.
Let's wait.
Let's wait.
Something.
So,
Something dark.
sure. We'll be right back, though. Do not touch that dial. Listen, I cannot stress how much you cannot touch that dial. All right? We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Can you see the sun is shining on me? It makes me feel so free, so
It's your boy DJ RJ3, aka RJ Johnson. I would like to inform you that I am doing a sports talk show called CBC Talk Sports with none other than
The man, the myth, the legend, Elliot Bender.
We do this show every Thursday, 6 to 7 p.m. And with that, I'm out.
back, nerds.
Hey, don't come off that harsh. You can't just come out of the gate. You can't just come out of the
Welcome
gate
back.
swinging.
You were listening to the Tower Radio, and you are tuned in to the Doghouse with your hosts, Husky, Dingo, and Updog.
You're coming at me with like a really weird energy.
Yeah,
I don't appreciate it.
I'm not sure if I'm vibing with that, dude.
No, that was really weird. Calm down.
He's very
He's at least
breathing heavy.
At least
Mom
he's
spaghetti.
excited.
Do your bit.
All
Do
right.
your bit.
Hey, what's up, fellow gamers? My name is Updog. How you doing?
You got a little something in your throat there, bud. You okay?
So yeah.
It's because I'm not the real Husky.
Oh no! Is this the same?
It's
crap
Dark
from last
Husky.
time?
Husky X.
I'm Liquid Husky.
It's a Kojima character.
No!
Husky was a clone of a clone of a clone the whole time.
Oh,
And I'm possessed by your dead brother's arm.
Joke's on you. I'm actually Hideo Kojima, played by Conan O'Brien. Oh, God.
I'm David Hayter.
Okay.
Cool.
I like yours. Hey, I'm David Hayter.
That's it. That's
And
all
you're
I-
watching Disney Channel.
You're watching Disney
Before we get
Channel.
into the main topic of why we're back, I just want to say Kojima, for some reason, has always hated David Hayter, the guy who voiced Snake.
Really?
Yeah, never liked him. That's why.
Why?
That's why he replaced him in the Phantom Pain.
That's
What a dumb.
That's
Yeah.
dumb.
Yeah.
David
Snake.
Hayter's like the only real
Snake.
voice for Snake. Let's be real. Like,
Snake.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The guy that was in Phantom Pain was fine.
He's a great act. He's a great
He did
actor.
good, yeah, but it's-
Too bad they hardly ever spoke in that entire game.
Yep.
Probably because they got rid of David Hayter.
Yikes.
I don't know why you get like a top-notch actor like the guy who played him and then like not use him,
That's the thing.
abuse him. Like,
Yeah.
you're gonna be voicing throughout this entire game. Do it. Anyways, so speaking of, well, actually, I can't say. Yeah, speaking of Hideo Kojima.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
So- We had a bit of a debate amongst ourselves. We had a bit of a discussion of what we would be going over today. We deliberated, we talked with each other, and we decided, what makes a good villain?
I say that I think a lot of people talk about like, hey, who's the coolest like main character in video games?
Right.
But really, I think the villain is what brings it all together. You know?
Yeah, and it's not just in video games. It's in any type of story. Like, obviously, the hero has a role to play, but a story is made great by the sum of its parts, and the villain is a quintessential role to that story. And I think there's no villain. Like, every villain is as good as the hero, and every hero is as good as the villain.
Yeah. Let me put it this way: like the first platformer is Donkey Kong. It's not called Mario. It's called Donkey Kong because that's who it's about. He's the one
Right.
throwing the barrels. He's the thing you got to overcome.
Yeah.
He's the thing that you're always looking up at and watching as he throws barrels too. So, yeah, it's interesting. They play off of each other. One isn't more important than the other, but one may take spotlight over the other.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. It's how they play off of each other. So we decided to decide what makes a good villain in a video game, though, specifically, because that's what we're here. We can talk about storycraft all day, but
That's
we're
true.
here to talk about storycraft in video games and how these and how a villain works in terms of
All right.
video game.
Recipe for making a good video game villain. Step number 1: he's got to be strong, or he's got to at least be powerful in some way. He's got to have some kind of effect on the world.
He's got to pose a threat,
Right.
and it may not always be a physical threat because you remember there was a villain in BioShock who he was just a guy.
He's just a guy, very manipulative.
He posed
character.
a threat
Yeah.
beyond what was physical, and that's what made him memorable. I think it comes to the point like whenever you're playing a game, you've got challenges to overcome. Like we were just talking about Animal Crossing. One of the challenges to overcome is that you've got to, in New Horizons, is that you've got to create this town from nothing. Like you've got to come in, and that's one of the challenges.
Yeah.
So what a villain does is he ramps up that challenge. He almost I think he represents the challenge in the game, like whether you're fighting him directly, or otherwise. So it's an interesting dynamic because you don't want to make them. If you make them easy, then nobody's going to take
Your game seriously.
the villain seriously. But if you make him too hard, then
You're playing Dark Souls.
Yeah, and like there's a realm of difficulty that like you can keep ramping up and you can make it hyper hard that works. But if it's not done well, and that's why I say it's the sum of all the parts. Like he has to work with the rest of the game.
Yeah.
It can't just be like like a steep spike. It has to be a ramp up to that. So.
Yeah, I think the villains I remember the most fondly are the ones that really challenged me and pushed me.
Right.
You know, like Ridley from Metroid,
I mean, honestly, like I'm gonna say, like
Metroid.
Yeah.
the
Fight Ridley a lot in Metroid now that I think about it.
Yeah, I mean, a few times.
and the same thing kind of goes with Monster Hunter. And that whole game is just founded off of like these games that like they present bigger and bigger bosses for you to challenge you, and those aren't villains, but it has the same kind of dynamic in that you know. The challenge and how to make that interesting. Now, it goes just beyond like just a challenge in a game. Obviously, it has to present a threat, not also to like your progression through the game, but also the plot or the story. That's what makes a really good villain.
I think something important to keep in mind with villains, well, two things anyways. One of them is, yes, the villain is strong, but even then becoming stronger as you become stronger, if that makes sense. So you not only have a sense of progression yourself, but you can tell, oh mess, this guy's getting strong, and like soon enough I need to end this because otherwise he may overpower me.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. That makes sense for like villains who are like a recurring threat. It makes sense for them to like power up with you. But if a villain is like a final boss or something at like the end of the game, it's important that you have to use everything you've learned or everything you've gained over the course of the game to fight them.
Yes.
Yeah, and that comes like from that argument where like I keep saying it's a game is a sum of all its parts. That's the last time I'm going to try to say that.
Yeah.
But like it comes like in Zelda games do it. I think very well, especially the Breath of the Wild, that you use all of the tools that you've had in these last few Ganon fights, unless you just blast them away with the
Run in with your shorts on.
But stuff like that. And at the end of every dungeon, you use everything that you've gotten up until then to defeat the boss at the end, and then finally, whenever you face Ganon at the end, you'll probably use a lot of the skills and stuff that you taught. Like in Twilight Princess, you use a lot of the sword skills. They help make it easier. You use a lot of stuff you learned as a
or the
wolf.
fishing rod.
Or the fishing rod.
Yeah, fishing rod.
Bet you didn't think that one would be making a comeback.
What about the bottle, where you can play energy tennis with the bottle?
Oh my gosh.
In Ocarina of Time.
And in Wind Waker, I think.
That's a great game.
Those
Pretty
games are
positive
all
Wind Waker,
incredible.
too.
They had to have put that in on purpose in Wind Waker.
Oh, it was on purpose, I think.
Excellent.
So,
but yeah, I think like the Ocarina Fight Ganon battle is like a good example because like first he tests your like basic sword skills with the tennis match. That's something you've been practicing over the whole course of the game. After that, you have to start shooting him with stuff, which again, like getting kind of creative when he gets into his big beast form. So like there's it doesn't like throw you into the middle of like a weird unfamiliar territory. It's like, okay, this is the final exam on everything you've learned.
Right.
And he's also a big pig man.
Right. And if you want to talk about just like testing your skill overall, I think Dracula from Castlevania is an excellent example because by the time you get to him, he's testing your ability to use not only the items that you've gotten, but like how you can platform in this in this stiff like Metroidvania style. And by that time you should be able to move and weave through that. And if you aren't able to, then you're punished for it, obviously. So I think that's excellent boss design. But you also have to think about what they carry as a story. Like why are these villains opposing you? And I think that's what makes a beyond like a memorable boss fight. You got to think about what makes a memorable villain. Like the reason that Ridley is so cool is because he's got those connections to Samus's past. The reason Ganon is so cool is because of the connection to the overall lore and his reoccurring nature. Let me think of some others. The reason Gladys from Portal is cool, in my opinion, is because she's got that overarching presence, and she's she's always throwing these challenges at you, and no matter how much you overcome them, like you never feel one step closer to Gladys, and then when you get one over on her, then it feels like an actual final victory.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's what makes a memorable villain, in my book, is like the challenge they don't just represent in gameplay, but in narrative. So, what do you guys think? Thoughts?
I just actually thought of another example, really, but what are you thinking?
Yeah, I think like in older video games, I guess Bowser would be at the end of the game, and Bowser kidnapped Princess Peach, like that didn't really feel connected to the game, like to the story, but kind of as games have kind of grown and the technology has gotten better, we can make more complicated narratives, which is, we have more like better stories with villains that are more interconnected to the world and stuff, and that always feels good, having stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think like in place of that, like if you can't do that, at least make your villain stylish.
Yeah. I think it's like a spectrum of like
Right.
going from like style and technical fun in a boss fight. Like you see a lot of that in like in like the Mario games and stuff, where like they can be like technically fun with the movement, but then like you have like the narrative side, like trying to strike a balance. Like I wouldn't even say like you can't be both. Like I think it's like
Oh yeah.
So like one might be really good technically and may not have as much narrative weight, but then one might have a lot of narrative weight and not as much technical aspect to the
I think a good example of someone that does just that is Sephiroth. You see in the story all the cool stuff and crazy things he does. As you go throughout the game, you see everything that he does constantly. And then as you fight him, he's just as difficult as it seems he would be.
Right.
So I think he's a really good example of that.
Right.
I think like another like a good example are like the Robot Masters from Mega Man. Like each stage is like a place that the Robot Masters like work and are supposed to be in control of. So the whole level kind of fits with the theme of the boss fight at the end. It feels like you're in a real place fighting like the real the real robot master of the area. It like helps really bring in like a living, breathing world.
Yeah. Or like even like maybe to a lesser degree like Mike Tyson from Punch Out. Like
oh my god.
Up until then you've been fighting. They are boxers, but they feel like more like gimmick boxers with very clear weaknesses and like you've been unbeknownst to yourself, you've been training your reaction speed and your ability to react to all these things. And by the time you get to Mike Tyson, he's testing you at the very apex. Like this is the world champion. This is the best of the best.
He feels like the champion.
So like, and he constantly reminds you after each thing like Mike Tyson is awaiting your challenge.
Right.
So like he's got that thing, and it's not a very good narrative, but that goes to like technical aspect over huge narrative.
Yeah.
Like the only narrative you have is Mac wants to be champion, which is fine for what that game wants to do.
That's fair.
So
that is a really good example. Like, God, I'm trying to think of like I know what each character in Punch Out like does. Like Bald Bull has his charge. Raj Tiger has like his teleporting nonsense. King Hippo's like he's got like his really wide swings. Mike Tyson just punches really hard and is really fast.
He's just Mike Tyson.
He's just Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson.
This is worse than anything you thought before. Still,
all of a sudden he jumps on Little Mac and bites his ear off.
No,
like crazy.
No,
that's an important twist.
Should have been Evander Holyfield. That's who they should have replaced him with.
Oh no.
I like Evander Holyfield.
God. Okay.
He's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Anyways,
so what are some like bad villains then, or villains that don't?
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask.
Yeah.
So villains off the top of my head. Let me think about bad villains that I've fought.
I think that's the thing. It's hard to think of a bad villain because they don't stick in your mind like
that's
these other ones do.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And so it's kind of rough to think of one, especially on the spot. Whenever like these big villains pop in, and it's like, no, they aren't a bad villain, and so it's interesting.
You're probably not gonna like when I say this, but
that's
like
fine.
A lot of bad guys in JRPGs don't really stick out to me because like they'll just start like they feel like movie villains almost, where they're just like I did this because I need the piece of the final gem to destroy them. Like I don't care about that. I just want to fight stuff.
And like JRPG villains that you do remember, those are that's how you know they're great.
Right.
But like it's really hard to like just by the nature of JRPGs just to have a villain that is memorable. And I think that's why a few of the Final Fantasy games are so memorable because they've managed to do that.
Yeah.
But like
that's why some of them aren't, is because they didn't manage to do that.
Exactly. But by the nature of the JRPG games, it's really hard to make your villains stick out above other stuff.
I don't know as much about Dragon Quest, but if I know enough, I think most of those games are very similar to what you just explained. Like a lot of the villains are mainly after plot MacGuffin number 1 because it'll help them conquer the world or something like that.
Like Eggman is kind of doing similar stuff in most of his games, like particularly in the 3D Sonic games. But I still think Eggman is cool just because he acts and looks really cool.
He he's good.
He's got style, which kind of makes up for some of the other areas where he might be lacking in that particular game.
That's true.
Right. And I don't know, if I were to think of a bad villain, I mean, honestly, like the ultimate failure of a villain is one that you never remember. But you know, games that are like they may be complex but have like simple stuff. Like honestly, the Neocortex from the first Crash Bandicoot. Like,
that's true.
I don't really remember him very well because like it was kind of eh.
Like, there's a lot of mad scientists in gaming. Like,
Yeah,
but like the other ones find ways to set themselves apart.
Neocortex has a big head.
Yeah,
with an N on it for some reason.
I love Crash Bandicoot. I think he's a wacky, crazy character. I think it's cool.
He probably deserves a better, like a more down to earth villain than.
I think honestly, like if they ran with Tiny the Tiger more, that'd be great. I don't know if you know who Tiny is.
Oh,
yeah, kind of a little bit.
I know who Tiny is. He's the huge buff boy.
Yeah.
A villain. I've never played this game, so maybe I'm not getting the appeal. But like Gruntilda the witch, she just looks like a witch to me.
Yeah, I don't really like Gruntilda but that's more to do with art style. Like, why did Banjo puts all their like faces on everything.
Yeah.
So like, I find that art style uncomfortable and
like,
unsettling.
I don't know. It just feels like in that world you could have made anything your villain, but like it's just like this witch. She doesn't even look like a very particular. Her design isn't like very iconic either. It could be like any witch from any video game. I feel like
that's true.
It feels like a witch from like a subpar Halloween design.
Yeah.
Right.
Isn't
Halloween
like the big
decoration. Sorry, go ahead.
But isn't like the big thing for her anyways? Like, oh, who's the prettiest girl in the land? And it's what's her name? Banjo's sister.
Yeah, but like she could have been like really ugly or something, like horrifying to look at.
For the style point, for sure.
But she just looks like a generic witch that could be like on a Halloween candy box or something. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Another like kind of on the opposite side of that spectrum, like a character who's like way too much style and no like story or discernible character would be like Infinite from Sonic Forces.
Oh my goodness!
I took one look at that thing and like the edge is so edgy, my eyes were bleeding.
That is Infinite to a nutshell. I've played and beat Sonic Forces, so like I have his story that is there, which there isn't one.
What was that Knuckles quote again? Can you run that by me again?
This is what was it? It was something along the lines of.
Of course everything is bad, Tails. That's why it's called war.
It's the best quote.
Sonic is dead. On Knuckles, Sonic is dead.
Sonic's dead.
Sonic is dead.
2 minutes later, oh hey, I'm fine.
I wasn't even tortured. I'm fine.
Yeah, no torture, no nothing.
I'm great.
I'm fine.
The tone is all over the place.
It's that game did not know what it wanted to be and should never have been made.
Sure, okay.
But anyways, back on topic. He was a very weak villain.
I think also kind of going along this idea of balancing like, style and power and all this other stuff. It's got to fit with the character of the game. Like. If I just took Bowser and put him into like some other game, like he probably wouldn't make very much sense. But for Mario, it kind of fits. Like it kind of works in a weird way.
Yeah, it's a consistency in visual style at the very least.
Right.
So I agree. I think that contributes to it. Plus, we have people have an innate fear of dragons, and this guy's sort of kind of a dragon when you first see him in the old Super Mario.
Yeah.
Like where he's guarding this princess. It's not like a very great boss fight, but it tests your platforming skills.
Yeah. I mean, imagine if you put Ganon in Mario instead.
I'd be amazed and terrified.
Well, that's the thing. Like, Ganon has some darker elements to him. Like, whenever he has the whole possessing Zelda to fight for him thing and all those things. Like, if he possessed Peach to fight Mario, like, that couldn't happen.
I mean, at the most, like, Bowser would just be like a mini boss in Zelda.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird because, like, it kind of fits the aesthetic of like this plumber is going out to save a princess. Okay, that's already a ridiculous concept. Okay, now he fights a fire-breathing turtle, and it's like all kind of like it's ridiculous. But when you say, "Oh, that's Mario," like, "Oh, it's not ridiculous because like it works."
Yeah,
and because it's been processed to work.
Also, I think like as far as Bowser goes, he's not just like like you said at the beginning, he kind of looked like a dragon, but now he looks like Bowser.
Yeah,
like he's very distinctive among a lot of video game dragons. If he's not even a dragon. He's just
he's a turtle.
He's the Koopa King. He's Bowser. That's what he is.
Yeah, I agree. So what are some other bad examples you guys think, just off the top of your head?
Probably any villain other than like Armstrong from For Metal Gear. I don't know who these people are.
Armstrong.
goodness,
Okay,
you're
so
right.
a little thing about Armstrong.
Armstrong's cool.
Fantastic character. Let me tell you, like that game was all over the place, but the way he that's another thing I want to bring up. Presence of villains. Like Bowser, in my opinion, is at his best when he has an imposing presence over Mario. When he's huge, like
Right.
in 64,
That's why I like to
like
make
in
him
Galaxy.
big all the time.
Yeah.
Galaxy was
I love that when they do that.
Galaxy was good.
Armstrong is another great example because he has like this crazy presence, and up until now, like you've been shredding through enemies, right? You've been shredded through this giant Metal Gear that you had, and then your blade stops on this guy. You can't cut him.
Nano machine.
And like I think that's what like
baby.
it emphasizes presence because like he's so different from everything else you encounter, and that's something else I wanted to emphasize. Is like what makes a good villain is that it's not just it's not just anything else you've been fighting. There is something different about this.
Yeah.
This foe.
Going back to Dracula really quick, like all the enemies in Castlevania are weird and monstrous, like giant dogs, like Frankenstein, like Gorgon heads that are flying through the air. But this guy Dracula, he's just a guy, a very suave gentleman sitting in his chair. Like,
what is a man?
What is a man? He's
I
got
think-
philosophies.
I think another example of a bad villain would be I just had it pulled up. Hold up. Like it was actually a really decent idea. Left my head.
It's you. You're the worst villain.
I'm the worst villain because I can't think of what I just thought of. Dadgummit. It was a really good idea too. Oh no, I got it. Okay. Andros from Star Fox.
Oh, wow.
I don't think he's a very good villain.
That's painful.
I know. I'm sorry.
I agree.
But it's exactly.
Star Wolf is better.
Oh yeah,
Star Wolf is better.
In
Okay.
every sense of the word.
No, I'm saying
yeah.
I'm saying this because like okay, there's this like animation
you
called The
explain.
Fox in Space. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you go.
And I'll let you go. There's an animation that Fox in Space that actually presents Andros as like a really cool character and a villain, like in the little tidbits that he's released of this episode too, that will probably, definitely, maybe come out. But this whole like Andros, I think suffers because like those old Nintendo games that didn't have, even Mario 64 didn't have a lot of dialogue, but you didn't need a lot of dialogue in 64. Plus I say it didn't have a lot of dialogue, but Bowser frequently spoke to you all the time, and you heard from other people inside these paintings.
Especially in Sunshine.
Yep.
Anyways,
Yep.
Andros never talks to you until you get to the very end of 64. And 64 is a pretty fun fight. I wouldn't say he's a great villain in that, but like it's pretty cool whenever you're listening to this and he's like talking down to you. But it has the same problem as I think Dracula does in that you don't really hear from him the entire time until you get to the end.
Right.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think at least Dracula tests you a little bit more than Andros' fight does.
You want to know another bad villain I just thought of?
What?
Master Hand.
That's not a villain. That's a stage
and Taboo
boss.
and like all
Taboo
the
is
Smash
a bad
villains,
villain. Taboo
all
is
the
a bad
Smash
villain.
villains. You know.
I think Master Hand works.
Master Hand
And he was-
works. You don't want a good villain, like a great villain from Smash, because it's not telling a narrative.
I like the idea of like you see the hand at the beginning of the cinematics and stuff, and he's like the cursor when you're selecting characters. The game is like subtly telling you like this is the guy who's in control, and then when you fight through classic and adventure mode, like there's no one else to fight except for the puppet master himself, Master Hand.
That's fair.
Which is, it's not the best. Which it would be really hard to make a good villain for Smash because you can play as villains. And
I think he's memorable just because he's shown up time after time after time in this franchise.
It has gotten tired.
So that's where Taboo is the weaker link of that then.
What is I don't get what Taboo is. I didn't understand it.
Especially how he shows up at the
He's like-
very end. You don't
he's
hear
like
anything about
the societal. He's like the manifestation of societal pressure to give up the kid inside, I guess, and that's why he's turning all these characters that are living into trophies or something.
He like leans forward and he's like,
yeah, he's all like restricted and stuff.
I am a strand game, and then everything explodes.
What about what about most? I'm not gonna say all of them, but all the teams, like most of the teams that are in Pokemon games, are pretty weak villains.
Yeah, I don't really know what they want or what's happening.
You know, I mean, I'm just saying Giovanni's excellent.
Cool, but
he's great. Best villain of all time. Greatest.
Probably,
All right,
but
well,
not.
cool.
That's not like.
That's it.
I think like Pokemon's not very story heavy, but
hard.
I think Mewtwo's a cool villain for Pokemon.
Yeah,
That's fair. Yeah.
I think honestly,
cool.
like if I were a 10-year-old, and that's part of the thing, like the villain has to play off you,
Yeah.
and I'm a 10-year-old coming in with my Pokemon, but like,
Yeah.
You're a 10-year-old. I'm just gonna
Stop
tie you up
terrorism.
and throw you in the ocean. Like, who's gonna stop me?
It's like
You're right,
it
you're
makes
right.
sense. Like you've captured all the Pokemon. You're like you're really good at all these fights. So like, what's the last thing the developers can throw at you? A really weird, really powerful Pokemon.
Yeah, and that's fine. But
Yeah.
like when I'm like fighting it's just weird that I'm fighting a Yakuza boss.
Yeah.
Where Giovanni is. Giovanni is a Yakuza boss. Team Rocket is a Yakuza.
That's fair. That's fair.
Like
So-
when you're fighting, like it's just weird.
Yeah.
It's like Giovanni's cool, and if I were an adult, and like we were doing this Pokemon battle, like if I were a police officer beating him in a police officer, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's cool. That's a cool fight.
I wish I could
Interesting.
I wish I could play a game as a Pokemon cop. That'd be cool.
That would be
That would be
super sick.
amazing.
Why
I'd be-
wasn't that what Detective Pikachu was?
Why wasn't this? Yeah, yeah. No, that's actually a true statement. That should have been Detective Pikachu.
But yeah, I think that's and I don't think any of us dislike Giovanni. It's just like he doesn't have the impact, and I get why they have the 10-year-old because that's the demographic that they're trying to sell to. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
Giovanni could be a cooler villain if it weren't a 10-year-old.
I've got one more, and I'm gonna stop with my examples.
All
of
right.
my
Hit,
villains.
hit me. Hit me with it.
I'm gonna go, and this I don't know if actually I think both of you probably do know who this is. Vati from Legend of Zelda.
Vati?
Yeah, Vati.
Who's Vati?
Yeah, he's.
Yeah, exactly.
I never
That's the
never
point.
got to play that game.
Oh, he's the wizard guy.
Yeah, he's the Dark Wizard
From
from Four
Minish
Swords.
Cap?
Yeah, Minish Cap, Four Swords
He
Adventure.
shows up whenever Ganon isn't around.
Basically, yes.
Why couldn't Zant just be the villain of Twilight Princess?
Dude, oh
You're
my!
right. No,
Listen.
honestly, yes.
Listen.
Yes. Yes.
Zant was so cool.
He was such a good villain.
I think he checked off all these boxes. Like Zant's the one who's like destroying the world. He has like a really deep backstory with Midna.
Yeah.
He's like cool to look at. He would have made a good villain, but he kind of got sidelined because Ganon has to be in all Zelda games.
I just wish that
It would have been
he
fine
would have
if-
been crazy the entire time.
If they would have done,
Yeah.
that last end thing was weird. If
That
they
was
would
awesome. I loved that.
if they would have done hinting towards Ganondorf towards the entire time, that would have been fine.
Yeah.
But like, it was weird how they just pulled him out at the end, and I think that like you kind of like, you didn't do Ganondorf any favors. Like you just relied on the name, and you didn't do Zant any favors because you completely undercut all the work that character did in the story.
Yeah,
so,
it's really
like,
sad
pops
too
like a
because like
balloon.
it's really sad too because like Ganondorf in that game is one of my favorite Ganondorf designs.
yeah,
If
and
they
he,
could've-
when he was on the sorry, go ahead.
No, you're right.
When he's on the
Wait, what?
you heard it here first, folks.
He said he's right. He said he's
I
right.
w- when he's on the screen, he has a good presence.
Right.
He's fun to listen to. He's cool. But like I said, all of the game, he's not really a great villain because he's not there.
Right.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know why he doesn't play off Link well because they haven't had a growing relationship. Unlike Zant, where he terrorizes Link's home village and all this stuff.
Right.
Like, you have a personal connection there, and I don't know why they didn't manifest that. Probably
It's really
because
weird.
Nintendo's writers are okay most of the time.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel like somebody just leaned in and is like, "Well, you gotta have Ganondorf."
Well,
But see,
Way past cool.
I want to say this
Way
really
past cool.
quick. We were supposed to be talking about Vati this whole time,
Sorry.
and instead, no, that's my point. Instead, we talked about the other villain who's way more popular and way more powerful.
I have
because
nothing
no
to
one
say.
cares about Vati.
Oh,
I have nothing to say about Vati because I haven't played the
Yeah.
game.
It's
Like
like,
he's just okay. That's the thing, is he's overshadowed by Ganondorf in every single way. And that's why you don't see him again. Like I haven't seen him since like what, 2005 is when the last game of his came out. So I think that's a bad villain because you already had an established villain of the series. And so whenever you do that and you try to introduce another villain, it can be really hard to do that. And
Yeah.
with Zant, they did a really good job of making the villain, but we're too scared that it would happen like Vati, where, he would just be forgotten anyways, so let's just throw in Ganondorf. And so I think they should have just
So sad.
gone with the guns.
it is pretty sad. Like I remember playing Link Between Worlds. I can't even remember who the bad guy was.
Yeah, he's some painting dude.
He's a
Yuga.
Sure, but I don't know what he wants. I don't remember because he's not Ganondorf.
Well, I think at the end of it, doesn't he become Yuga Ganon?
He summons Ganondorf, like the big pig Ganon. He summons Ganon, like
Yeah.
big pig Ganon. But like,
It all
I remember
comes back.
that because it was.
It was Ganon,
Welcome
exactly.
I don't know.
It was like Ganon's disembodied corpse. By the way, and we'll get to this at a later point if we ever talk about this. But like, Never mind. I'll just leave that for
Yeah,
another
we'll,
day.
we'll,
Like,
we'll keep it here.
well, like it was interesting. It's interesting that like they can't rely on anything but Ganon. That'd be cool. I want to. Sorry, I kind of meandered off in there.
You're
But
good.
yeah,
You're
I don't know. I feel like we've kind of nailed it on the head
Yeah.
as far as what we want out of a
He's got to have
villain.
style. He's got to have power, and he's got to make sense.
narrative weight.
Yes.
Yeah.
Narrative weight. He's got to play off the villain just like, or play off the hero just like the hero has to play off him.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. Anything else you guys want to mention?
If only there was a way we could figure out
Yeah.
who the coolest villain is.
Yeah, kind of like a.
There's so many.
There are so many.
How can we quantify this?
There
with
must be
science?
a way.
Well,
with
we
science.
think of obviously we already have our formula. So if we just make that formula and all of us drink it, then we'll be able to think of who the best villains are.
I was thinking we throw them into a giant death pit and have them kill each
A
other.
hypothetical death pit.
No,
Yeah.
a real one. I made it.
What?
Yes.
How are we gonna get them out? How are we gonna get them into the real world? into
Well,
the
if they're a
death pit?
villain, they can get back
I'm
out.
so confused
That's
what's
right.
happening right now.
Wait. I've got a better idea.
Okay,
What if we had a boss rush?
A boss rush.
You
A
got
boss
me interested.
rush.
Okay.
A
Boss
tournament
rush.
to decide the most villainous of villains, the most heinous of offenders throughout the video game world. That's right. I'm talking about a tournament, baby.
How would we choose for such a huge occasion?
I'm done. I did it.
Okay, cool. All right.
Hackerman.
Hackerman. He's the greatest hacker in the whole world.
So what led you to just, first of all, before we go over our contestants, why don't you tell us what made you pick these certain contestants, Sir Updog?
Pure bias.
Oh wow,
Fantastic.
The best
My
kind, the best kind of decision-making process.
Yes, the ultimate gamer decision-making skill. Nostalgia mixed with bias.
You're right.
And that's why I changed the formula at last minute to insert all of our biases.
Yep.
That's true. Honestly, that's true.
All of our personal biases. So, we've got a roster set up of 8 characters going head-to-head, single elimination to decide who is the greatest video game villain of all time.
Right.
8 bad
right.
boys.
Yeah, first up we got the big boy himself. You gotta have, you know him, you love him. unless
King
you
Boom
play-
Boo.
King
King
Boom
Boom Boom.
You know him, you love him. Unless you're playing Mario Party, it's Bowser. Yeah, I feel like Bowser's just the quantifiable video game boss. You gotta have him in any kind of
He's the
boss
classic.
discussion.
That's true.
The
He's
classic.
an OG, you know.
He's Bowser.
He was there
That's all I
before the
gotta say.
rest of them.
Yep. Along with him, kind of in the same vein, we've got Ganon,
Surname Dorf.
surnamed Dorf.
Surname Dorf.
We've also got Ridley,
Ooh.
Dr. Robotnik,
Yeah, my boy.
Dr. Wily, Fatalis from Monster Hunter. I'm a little bit confused about that, but I guess we'll talk about it when it comes up.
We'll get it when it happens. I'm confused too.
Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII, a classic video game villain. The video game villain that launched 1,000 bad OCs on the internet.
1,000 bad OCs, and everybody's mom thought they were hot on the commercials.
Oh boy.
That's actually apparently a thing. I didn't know about that. But
Great.
It was
Well,
in the
now I
original
know about
commercials. Oh, I
Yep,
I
that's
didn't.
that's all 8. Wait a minute.
You're welcome. What?
There's one missing.
Is one missing?
One missing.
A
Who's-
ghost character.
Ooh.
A special surprise.
The Phantom Pig?
We'll be saving for later.
Ooh.
A dark horse, if you will.
Ooh, I'm excited. I'm ready for
Oh,
that.
boy.
I'm ready to reveal.
You could say he bought his way into the competition. Yeah, but I think we're going to be doing this over the next few weeks to figure out who the best video game villain is, and I don't know about you guys, I'm excited. This isn't something we've kind of done before, and I think it'll be great.
Do we want
Right.
to talk about how it's gonna work, or are we gonna wait for when
We'll
it
be
happens?
we'll be doing these discussions at the end of every show
Right.
from now on, until we have one de facto winner, one
Yes.
ultimate villain.
And the big key word here is discussion. So this isn't like a dogfight where it's 2 opposing opinions. No, this is all 3 of us making research on all of the villains,
Sure.
and then I'm going to, and giving hopefully unbiased opinions on who should be the villain that proceeds forward.
Right.
So.
Whatever you say.
Okay.
That's what I'm doing.
And I think we'll do that, and we'll have the normal news segments at the beginning of the show. Like we'll still have the meat, and we'll still have the top of the hour.
Of
Obviously,
course.
we'll still have that kick butt intro that everybody loves. That's sweeping
Our
across
famous
the nation.
So
famous
good.
intro.
Yeah, it'll
So
be.
good.
We've always had it.
Forever.
Yes, our famous intro.
This isn't the first time. What are you talking about?
I don't know what you mean.
Don't make fun of me. Anyway.
All right, guys. So we'll keep it clean. We'll
Right.
keep it unbiased. Just no personal feelings going into this.
I'll
Right?
just put my hand right
Right?
here, and we'll
Yeah.
hopefully.
All right.
That's
But
the
yeah, I
thing.
guess we need to first decide on who's going to be fighting first next week.
It's a good question. Rough decisions here. Rough decisions.
You know, it would be a rough decision if I hadn't already set the roster.
Oh, dang!
Oh,
Mr. Updog,
He did it.
tougher than the rest of them, ahead of
The best of
us.
us, tougher
Tougher than
than
leather.
Unlike
Ahead of the
Dingo, I don't
curve.
chuckle.
He'd rather flex his muscle that he doesn't have. Anyway.
I have muscles.
It's a joke.
I
It's a
have
prank.
muscles.
Muscles.
I have a tongue, which is
I
the
have-
strongest muscle in the whole human
I have
body.
knuckles. I grabbed a monster.
All
All right.
right. I think next week we're going to go right into the thick of it. We're going to start with the two biggest and most popular villains on the roster, just immediately.
Oh,
Like
Lord.
as far as size is
Can you guys guess who it
concerned,
is?
Is it,
If it's big, I would assume Fatalis.
Big the Cat versus
Versus Armstrong.
the Raptor
Armstrong.
from Turok.
Yes! Dude, no. The Raptor from Star Fox Adventures.
Oh,
The-
there was a Raptor in Star
Do you remember the beginning where he flies
Oh
Crystal
my
into the
God.
Krazoa Palace? He's all like, I'm you, Krazoa Palace.
No, you're all wrong. You're always wrong. Everything you say is wrong.
Oh.
Updog's the best
The two-
DJ in
I-
Doghouse. Oh, I'm wrong. Oh, okay.
All right. Next week, we're going to have a battle of kings. King Koopa himself, Bowser versus the King of Evil, Ganondorf.
Oh, that's gonna be a good one.
Who's the strongest Nintendo villain of them all?
That's a spicy
I'm ready
boy.
to figure it out.
That's a really good match, honestly.
Who's the best
Right off the bat.
right off the bat?
Yeah, that's our first one.
Who's the best evil king? I'm ready to figure it out with you guys and science.
It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be a good.
Can
good
we just
fight.
promise this isn't going to turn into death battle?
So
Please?
you guys, we're gonna talk a little bit about that. There will be a brief segment where we talk about which one would kill each other
Like if they
Actual
actually
fight.
fight.
for the people, baby.
Yeah.
Call that segment for the people.
Yeah, you're right.
Gotta throw the people a bone.
Oh yeah.
You know.
But yeah.
See what
So
you did
next
there.
week, Bowser versus Ganon. We're gonna have a discussion over which one is going to advance, which one is a better villain overall, which one meets all the requirements that we have talked about. Aside from that, you can also expect us to talk about the new Yacht Games game presentation,
Yeah.
and probably what was announced with Platinum Games. So be sure to tune in for that. Oh man, I'm so excited for this.
This is going to be so
The
much
Boss
fun.
Rush. Be sure to tune in to listen to the Boss Rush.
Yeah. But also just listen to the rest of the show. As he
Right.
said, like, we really try our best to look over information that we think is actually valuable and worth your time, because don't get me wrong, there's a lot of information about
Like
some gaming
Fortnite
things.
emotes. Very important that people need to know.
Hey, Rickrolling is important for the meme culture, okay?
Oh my god.
But anyway, so we try our best to do that, so that way you guys don't have to. You can come and listen to us, and we'll just tell you what it is anyway.
Please tune into our show. We'll
Tell
be
you what
back
it is.
next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. It's Fridays from 3 to 5. That's 2 hours of nonstop gaming news, reviews, and discussion with your hosts, Husky, Dingo, and Updog. But yeah, we got a minute and 20 seconds left. So say something stupid, Dingo.
Something stupid, Dingo.
I think that Xehanort is the best villain of all time.
You're right. That is stupid.
And here's why. You see, he does so many cool things. He is so strong, and I'm just gonna
What's a
yell
Xehanort?
so I can be picked up in it. Okay,
I think it's some kind of rash.
Ooh,
Ouch.
that's not good.
Okay, real talk.
It's
'cause
like
I know people
it's
are
a
gonna ask
radioactive
this.
chemical you'll find
reason
in
I
the Fallout
didn't-
76 helmet.
Oh, gosh. Well, the reason I didn't say anything for Xehanort, like I actually specifically told them don't put him in the list, is because I hate how his character unfolds at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3,
That's fair.
which is where he's ultimately defeated. It was the worst decision they've made.
Was it the power of love?
No, it
Friendship?
was
Honey.
well, see, I was
From Winnie the
helping
Pooh.
the darkness to help the balance because light was becoming too strong, so I had to help the darkness out.
That was a plot in Adventure Quest Worlds. Anyways,
It was
which is not known for its good writing. Anyways,
yeah, exactly. It was bad.
you guys have been listening to The Doghouse with your hosts, Husky, Dingo, and Updog. Be sure to tune in next week, Fridays from 3 to 5 for all your latest gaming news, reviews, and discussion. This is DJ Husky, DJ Dingo, and Updog signing off. And for all the YouTube audience, we're sayonara. We'll see you guys next week. Be sure to tune in again. We love you, all of you.
You're our favorites. Don't tell the radio audience.
We cherish you. Thank you.